How has Teradata changed since you are in your current post, your current seat?
I wish I could give you a 3-second answer to that, but we'll take a little longer. So I've been around Teradata since 02 or 03. I joined the NCR board, and that was when I first found Teradata. So I've been around as a board member, and later NCR, later Teradata. So observed Teradata and watched what was going on, and then later through the 12 to 15 period, what wasn't going on, sales weren't going like they were, and also came in, and I think, I said it this morning, but I think the biggest change that's occurred since then, in the last year, I came in and observed that I thought we'd lost our focus on our customers. I think that our team was probably not as energized as it should have been. So we've gotten in, reintroduced our customers to the new Teradata and our people to the new Teradata. And most of them, we're fortunate a long time, have been around to the old Teradata. And it actually turns out the old Teradata got its strength and greatness from its people and providing business outcomes. Over the years, our technology became our center focus, and we forgot that technology is only an important thing to customers if it drives business outcome, right? I mean, technology for technology's sake isn't what people want. People want technology to help them drive things. And so I think we have re-energized our organization around customer first. How do we help our customers drive outcomes? And then that has a lot of ramifications. It has had spin-off in the fact that Oliver and his team have driven our technology to be much more focused. We have changed the deployment options, how you buy it. We announced today a new subscription model. You heard about Teradata Everywhere, more software focused, so it'll run on the public cloud, private cloud, VMware, wherever you want it to run. And then we are bringing in a group of consulting folks. So we've got an organization there that we've brought in, and we're building on a global basis. That we saw where we are. Data is, and so we can talk about digitalization as one thing, but data is, if you will, digitalization is, there's two ways to look at. Part of it is all the stuff that's been done the old way. People are now doing things more. I don't think that's as big a trend. I think that's been going on for a long time. But if you look at the amount of data that's entering the world going forward, and it's just increasing tremendously, right? I mean, every car's an external data source, right? And so you've got edge computing and how that impacts, and along with predictive analytics, which also drives a whole lot of stuff, and that occurs both on the edge and in the CPU. And so how do we think? So the question is now, how does that impact Teradata? So I believe that it actually is creating a huge dynamic and demand for us, and I think that it'll continue to drive demand for us. And the reason for that is that there is data compounds exponentially. You know, it's like, I remember 10 years ago, everybody was talking about, you know, the amount of data in the world doubles it used to be 20 years, and then 10 years, you know, the half-life gets shorter all the time. So as that occurs, and our customers kind of work through things and try and figure out, how do we deal with all this data? Where do we put it? What's important externally or on the edge, and what's important on the center part? I think that the growth of data and edge computing and all that's naturally going to allow customers to figure out what is critical, mission critical to their operation, right? And they're going to bring that piece of data back in, and I actually think that where Teradata lives is going to be growing at a rate that's very acceptable. Now, we won't and don't expect that our customers will put all of their data on Teradata. It just doesn't work. It shouldn't. And so the idea is how much of that comes in that's mission critical, that needs to be analyzed in a way where latency matters, and all that kind of stuff, where it comes into the central area of the process. So a certain amount of data is always going to be in a central portion. It's going to be put in a relational database where it works and functions in a way that matters. And so with just the explosion of data, we think naturally, if we do our job right, we will be the beneficiaries of that, because we perform at scale. And this is the big thing that I've learned. You guys all know I'm not a tech person, but in talking to our customers, when we talk to big businesses, they all say the thing Teradata does that better than anybody else is across the broad spectrum you can perform at scale, and it's reliable. And so we think that's our sweet spot, and we think we're going to continue to grow.
But I think that the thing that...
Which are the main challenges the marketers will face in this area, in this digital and data?
So are you talking about
universe.
like, so in your area,
yes.
getting to customers? Okay.
Yes.
Well, so I think, you know, CRM has been, is a big thing. We have a product that we actually put out, we call it Customer Journey, to help our customers understand how to deal with their customers, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is an ongoing issue. The challenge is there as faces and how customers make decisions about what they buy, and the number of deployment or purchase options the customer has gets more and more diverse and spread. The ability to stay in front of put relevant offerings in front of customers is a key issue. I think just the broad diversity of data points and entry points for customers is going to be, for advertisers and stuff, trying to figure out where do I deploy my dollars, how is the best way to do that, is going to continue as it is today to be the biggest thing they face. Where do they get the biggest impact for their spend, and how can they change decision points, right? Mm-hmm. And as there are more and more options for customers, I think staying on top of that, being able to decide the relevance of that. And you know, it's very generational, right? I mean, millennia has way different decision choice than I would. Mm-hmm. And so trying to figure out how that can play out and how can you change behavior. And it's not just how do you change the customer's behavior, but how do I place my bets on where it's going to go. And so you can think simply about if I'm a car manufacturer, right, mm-hmm. and how do I deploy against that when fewer and fewer people are buying cars. Fewer and fewer people are not riding in cars, fewer and fewer people are buying cars. And so understanding how I lay my money against the decision points that are in there will have a significant impact, right? I mean, so you have to understand changing customer behavior and use options as well as how they're influenced. So I think it's just going to get more of the same that we have, but that has a big implication, because if there's 1,000 choices customers have instead of 10, how you realize that and realize really what makes a change in customer behavior, and at what point do you make that change. So it is when they're about to click, or is when they start the search, which is the decision point, and the ability to understand that. And actually we've got some pretty good stuff that we do right now that help our customers understand that. And you know, it's more than just in that. We help customers inside their own deployment options. Mm-hmm. So we've been able to help customers understand when is a customer likely to leave. And we've been able to do that. We have predictive analytics that help them decide 6 months before where they go. So part of that is an internal marketing decision, as opposed to not all decisions are external. We think more and more marketing decisions are made internal with your own customers to stop them from leaving. That's as important as bringing new ones in. So I think there's just a lot of, and I think analytics and predictive analytics is an important part of that, to try and understand customer behavior.
Okay.
Question? Yeah, a couple of things. You're talking about the end of the cloud. Where will that be? Teradata, and also, what do you think?
I don't think the end of the cloud is here, by the way.
Oh, right.
I was referring an article that somebody else had written.
Okay, right? you don't buy the argument.
Well, no. But all I think it means is, so I didn't get to finish that thing. We jumped in on something else. So their point in this article, end of the cloud, was that the cloud wasn't going to rule all things, and the reason for that was edge computing, right? Stuff is going to be occurring out on the edge, and so not everything's going to be central anymore. So this was the point of they don't think the cloud's going away either, right? So don't want to go there. So no, but I think what it means is that the world is continually evolving. So
future, all these things, programmatic, algorithm, all these things you also represent, and then we see the reality. The companies are not very happy. Is this a weakness? What do you think? What's your opinion about this? Because it's recently happening.
So it is
not nice.
Happening, and I think you've seen YouTube are trying to adjust and go where they are, mm-hmm. and I think that's the nature of smart business. Find a problem and solve it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to opine on that particular situation because I'm not deeply involved, but I do think that it does highlight an opportunity that every company has, and that is that as things move and go forward quickly, people have to learn to adjust and find mistakes and try and adjust their ecosystems and their programming and all of that to fit their strategy. But I think everybody in the world is going to have issues like this. I mean, this is the one that's new, but I don't know. At least I'm not a person who
You don't
makes
work with
mistakes.
them, no? You don't work with them, no? Teradata is not working with them to help them to make it better?
Oh,
I ask.
that is what they would call and ask. If we had an opportunity.
Yes,
we'd be happy to
that's
do
what
it,
I-
right? But that particular thing, I understand where it is. They've responded quickly and said, we're making adjustments and we're going to
that's
correct.
right.
And I think that's all any business can do, right?
Okay.
I think that's it, actually. Okay, just one more.
It's a short question about the future. I just know that you can talk about the things we are working on it, but maybe some trends that you see next year. This year it has happened more changes than in the 10 years before. So what's going to happen in the next year?
Well, the thing we're hearing from our customers, right, is I think all of this stuff that's being put on customers. So like open source and Hadoop were the big thing 3 or 4 years ago, and it was going to be the same. We got the cloud, and we've got edge computing, which we know is coming, the next thing that's coming down, IoT, AI, all of those things are coming together. And I think as we look at the future is that business is starting to understand that there is no magic, no silver bullet is what we call it. There's not one thing that a company's going to be able to do to solve everything. So I think the future is, and you know, I'm going to be shameless here. I think the future is about trying to understand how do I fit all those things into an ecosystem to drive my business? Where do I take advantage of all of those? And that is exactly what our strategy is around. How do we at Teradata be a trusted advisor to come in and help our customers sort out those things in a timely, practical manner that allows them to drive their business forward? And I said a little bit today, the cloud's a perfect thing. The cloud is here. It creates wonderful opportunities, but there isn't a cloud, right? I mean, there are multiple options to deploy cloud that brings opportunities, and it also brings issues that you have to deal with. And helping our customers understand where the cloud fits for them and where it doesn't fit for them is an important part of us, and it gets back to the ask. And that's why Teradata is becoming more and more software-driven instead of hardware, so that we can deploy our analytics across the broad spectrum. But I think that's it. Companies are going to have to be more flexible. They're going to have to embrace new things, figure out when it's time to pull them in, and I think have partners who are looking on the edge, and we're trying to be involved in all those things.